Welcome everybody. This is I have to say, this live stream and this day has been a very long time coming. I'm getting some feedback from someone here. Not sure who it is. Oh, maybe it's me. Hold on. It's me. That's why I had the YouTube open. I'm very excited to have this live stream with you today. Not only to celebrate a very long and rich history of Development Studio, but to celebrate our community. This launch of early access is literally all about getting community feedback as we prepare for version 1 launch. This game, In the Black, an Impeller Studios project, has been in development for more than a decade, which is both crazy and astonishing in a way. And the reason for that is this has been a hardcore passion project from the beginning, that we wanted to really own the design and the direction of the game and studio. And this, simply put, this we've talked to many publishers. This was not a game that interested publishers because it's very niche and very different. Let me see. I'm getting a quick note. We're trying to stream to.
I think they almost always liked it, but they just didn't see it as something that fit their portfolio.
Yeah,
from a business perspective.
Yeah, it's a very niche game. So today we are officially launching after, like I said, more than 10 years on in development. We're launching on Steam. We originally started this project as Starfighter Inc, which was our working title, and stayed our title through the first Kickstarter, which did not succeed. We learned a very valuable lesson in that Starfighter Inc Kickstarter campaign, which is
93%.
We were very close. We were so close to hitting, but I think I'm glad that it did not succeed for a couple of reasons. One, I think we learned a lot of lessons there in terms of what players really wanted to see. We had to really prove that we were able to do what we were promising. And I think that's one of the golden rules of Kickstarter for video games. You gotta make sure you show that you can do it. And having the credibility of some of the members of the team, including Dave here, who's worked on X-Wing and Bloodwake and Saints Row, Jack Mamias, who of course worked on Crysis, Far Cry, Mech Warriors 2. That simply was not enough. I think players really wanted to see more than concept. So we took those learnings. We developed the game across 2 different engines actually in the beginning. And then we launched our second Kickstarter campaign, which was a success. And so here we are now, many years later. I think it's worth pointing out that the Kickstarter campaign that was successful, we gave keys to all the backers, of course. But I personally did not feel that version of the game was really ready for a mass commercial release. I felt like it was still too narrow. And to be ready for a really nice, successful launch on Steam, it needed to have more meat to it and more features and more of the vision inside of it. So that's where we are today. We spent that time in developing the game. We also made, I think, a nice decision to do a demo several months ago to align with Steam Next Fest. That demo also I think was one of our best decisions we made. Gave us a ton of feedback. Also enabled us to support some additional hardware that was really important for community in terms of head tracking and eye tracking, controller support, multiple controller support, which Noah is with us here, was instrumental in helping bring to life. So it's been the demo about several months, and now we worked on feedback from the demo. We incorporated a nice feedback system into the demo so people can give us their feedback by pressing F8. Also super instrumental. And very thankful for all the community. That's been very helpful. Before I talk about much more about what we're going to be talking about today, let me introduce the people that you see next to me, my great colleagues here. I'll start counterclockwise with David Wessman, who was on there pretty early on the project, not in day one, but pretty soon after. Dave Wessman joined the team. Dave, it has been so awesome to go on this journey with you. I think it's funny, everyone on this team has a very unique set of skills. And I think that sounds like that movie line, but it's true that everyone has a unique set of skills, and we all balance each other very nicely well. And we argue plenty. We debate things all the time, right? And that's what kind of makes game development such an exciting area to work on. And Dave, I think, brings to the table something which I was super surprised about, actually, and excited, I always knew that he was a brilliant game designer. Worked on the missions for X-Wing and TIE Fighter, one of the most beloved games in space combat game history. Like, no joke. That's not inflating anything. That's absolute truth. Still does very well. I've seen the great mods today, actually, on X-Wing TIE Fighter, still alive and kicking. But Dave brought something to the project which I was, like I said, surprised about, and that is he was really excited to bring realism into In the Black, which is obviously our final name of the game after Starfighter Inc. was our working title. So Dave, thank you so much for bringing that kind of component to the game. I think Dave has been really good about poking us in all the right places to make sure that we're paying attention to science as much as we can to make a fun game. And I think that's been one of the big challenges, and that's one of the reasons why I think we've spent so much time making this game. We wanted to get it right. And I think in my eyes, I think we've hit that balance very nicely. So Dave, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being part of the project.
Thank you. No, this is, we met at GDC, I believe at the, oh geez, I just crashed into an asteroid.
That'll happen. Can't talk.
And yeah, we met at a party. I think there was some display showing a space combat game, and you started telling me about this project. And then I mentioned my background, and I think your response was, get the fuck out. And would you be interested in joining this project? And I was like, yeah, of course. So yeah, it was a very serendipitous meeting.
It was awesome.
And then when I found out that Jack was involved as well, because Jack and I met, I think back in 2003, worked at Check 6 Studios at an ill-fated time in that studio's life, because they shut their doors 6 weeks after hiring me. But Jack and I stayed friends, and so it was great to get the chance to work with him again too.
Totally. And I've said this before, but to me, it's very accurate. For those of us who may remember some of the marketing of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, a lot of the commercials they used to have were basically someone walking down the street with some chocolate, someone walking down the other side of the street with some peanut butter. They bump into each other. Their stuff gets mixed together, and it's like the perfect taste. And I feel like that's kind of what I look at Jack and Dave like. They both bring something very different to the table. Jack, obviously, Mamias of Crisis and Far Cry MechWarrior fame. He brings a very hardcore kind of design background into gaming, and I think it's a really nice balance, bringing in the science and Dave's experience with space combat games. It's just really nice complementary thing. And I've also had fun moderating some very healthy, lively discussions between the two. But also very instrumental on the team.
Dad, Jack's being a jerk again.
Yeah, Jack. Dave's lucky right now because Jack is teaching. He wanted to join this live stream. He was with us an hour ago in the war room that we set up for launch day. But so he says hi to everybody and thanks everybody for supporting the game over the years. And we're going to do a live stream again this weekend. We'll talk a little about that later. Thank you for the congrats. I see some nice messages in the chat. So Jack, so one of the other reasons for the great success of the game is some of the developers who kind of latched on very early on, including this gentleman next to Mr. Wessman, Noah Brewster. Noah.
Hello. How's it going?
Man, this has been, it's funny. We like over 10 years ago, a lot of different changes in everybody's life over the years, right? Yeah. When we started, you were in your mom's womb, maybe. I don't know. No, how old were you when you started?
Mid-20s. Yeah. So that was like what, 2015, 2016. Mm-hmm. Fresh out of SCAD.
Yeah.
And then
you're 47 years old.
Yeah, almost. He's 37 on the 8th, actually.
Amazing. So, well, happy almost birthday. Mm-hmm. But I think that, what kind of inspired you to kind of hang on to the project as long as you have?
Yeah, I love the concept, the setting. The Expanse is one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm sure everybody has seen the maybe some of the inspiration behind that with this, but and I have it's very unique. It stands apart from everything else that's out there right now, and I think that it's has a very bright future. The platform we've managed to craft is a pretty exciting project.
Yeah.
And idea.
Yeah. And I should also remind, I should have probably said this in the beginning, and Noah's working on very little fuel right now.
Yeah.
Did you go to sleep last night?
No.
No, yeah. So yeah,
No.
so he's gonna bow out in a few minutes. But I wanted to introduce him to everybody who hasn't seen him before. Yeah, but I think it's been like that for all of it. Some of it also, I told my wife and my friends at work that whether this game is hits a chord with a lot of people, I hope it does. But to me, actually, it doesn't really matter too much. I feel like the satisfaction I feel from being able to bring this vision to where it's at today and let players actually really play and experience it, even as small as the audience might be for this niche game, I think is just very very joyful to me. And I think that is if nothing else works out after today with this game, I'm good. I'm very happy. I feel like this has been something that we really wanted to put out, and I'm glad we've done just that. We're not done. This is early access, so now's the time where we're going to be taking players' feedback even more so actually than we've been doing after the demo, and prioritizing our items and maybe adding some new ones to the roadmap, which we'll talk about in a bit. But super exciting. I just got a note from the platform that we might be broadcasting to Steam right now. So if we are, hello Steam players. We had not used StreamYard to live stream to Steam before, so hopefully it comes out okay. This live stream will be recorded and saved on our YouTube channel. People want to watch later. Okay, so and then we have great players also, or I should say, great players on the development team that have been very important, like Al here, who's been really helping with kind of associate producer kind of support, which is kind of like running around doing a little bit of everything. Super helpful. So Al, thank you so much for joining and helping with these live streams and helping with the production, all the stuff in the background that people might not see. What has kind of brought you onto the project?
Jack, hearing him talk about his game, I mean, he inspired me to want to help out. So, we got into having those conversations. He's like, yeah, man, just come on over here. Let's get to work. And 3 years later, here we are,
That's awesome.
That guy.
And speaking of here we are, we just debuted this a little earlier. Why don't we have a lot to talk about. We've been getting to the history a little bit now. But we're going to talk about the game, obviously. Why don't we kick things off with the new trailer that Remco Vandenberg just put together, released today and up on our Steam page and up on the YouTube page. We'll play this and be back in a couple minutes. Al, you can do the honors.
Yes, sir.
And we start talking. Oh, you worked on X-Wing? You worked on TIE Fighter? Oh my God, I love those games. When are you going to make another one? It's like, well, that's what this project is.
Flight system.
We want to recapture that intense, immersive feeling of being in the cockpit, in a spacecraft, shooting things and blowing them up real good.
Real Newtonian physics, heavy component damage. That's something I could never pass up.
Amazing job, Remco. I love that
And-
trailer. That is, it gives me goosebumps. Very, very great work. As anyone who's ever worked on trailers knows, that is very hard work to actually put something like that together. So, very representative of the time and the that went into the project and the game itself. So, hats off to Remco. And I see we got some great comments in the chat. Hey, look, someone just got their copy of the game. There it is. So thank you. Let us know how you feel about it. Give us your feedback. You know, I would tell everybody that's a good segue to talk about the demo. The demo, like I said a little earlier, was a big decision that none of us took lightly because it's a lot of work. And there's a lot of debate on whether it's really a beneficial thing to do, and from a business standpoint, right? Because sometimes you're taking away some of the thunder from the actual game. Sometimes people will just play the demo and never play the game. Some people might not like the demo. Maybe they would have tried the game, anyway, just not played it more after that. But to me, I feel like the demo was critical for this game in particular, for one big reason. This game is not like any other space combat sim that's ever been done by any team that I know of. When we started this, actually, there was no Star Citizen. There was no Elite Dangerous. There was no other space game, period, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to form the studio way back when. Because I loved space games growing up. It was my favorite things to do. I would turn all the lights off and I'd play Wing Commander and X-Wing, and it was so immersive to me. But at that time when we started this, there were nothing. There's so many of them right now, which is amazing, and I love it. There's so many great space games now, but believe it or not, at the time, feel free to look, there was nothing. I think at the time, I got a little glimmer of hope because Halo had put a small space combat scene in one of the sequences of the game, and I was like, "Well, this is awesome!" And I'm thinking maybe they were teasing something in the future, but it was just that small thing. So anyway, so that's one of the reasons why this project started. The Expanse was not out yet, so our view of realism and how it looks with realistic lighting in the game, that was there way before The Expanse had a TV show. So people, often ask how much we're inspired by The Expanse. We love The Expanse, but that was not actually one of our inspirations for references because it didn't exist. The fact that we chose a solar system, I think, just made sense from a realism point of view because everything is very far in space to get anywhere else. And for a near future type of game, we wanted to try to keep it as grounded in reality as possible. And in all likelihood, that's probably going to be very similar to how things play out, where we're going to have a lot of mining companies battling in our solar system. And as you know, corporations have a pretty hefty hand in the way of things in the world. And that's kind of the backstory of the game a little bit. Noah, I want to make sure we respect your ability to live.
Thank you.
I want to let you go. You're welcome to stay on as long as you want, but I also want to give you the opportunity to wave and say goodbye, and also just want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication, along with the rest of the team on bringing this to life. Is there anything that you wanted to go over before you catch some Z's?
Thank you and everyone who's followed us on this journey. We're not done yet, not by a long shot. So yeah, we'll keep working on some stuff. We might have some new things to show pretty soon. And yeah,
well, thank you, Noah.
In the black. Yeah, take it easy, everyone.
Thanks, Noah. It's so great to have Noah on the team. He has been one of the primary engineers, coders, technical folks, Unreal specialists. He's been multiple areas on the tech side of things. He's been fantastic. So got a nice some comments here. People, this is for you, Dave. Loving the X-Wing series back in the 90s. Finally, the day has arrived. You must have been through quite a journey during development, but honestly, this is just the end of Act 1. Best is yet to come. Wishing you all the best. Really nice comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Nice comment here. We needed a space sim with real physics. That's the thing too. So I was saying about the demo, and this is a great comment to touch on this. So this game does leverage Newtonian physics for the flight in the game, and realistic physics and realistic weapons. We don't have any shields, so to speak. That's in most games. We don't have, a lot of space games, as people might know, they use airplane mechanics, basically, like atmosphere. So like World War II kind of planes, like they're moving in and out like that. So, which is very fun, but very, impossible in space, obviously. So we wanted to take a different look at it.
And there is no stealth in space.
And there's no stealth, right? Because mostly, right? Why though? It's so interesting. It's heat. Even though you think of space being so cold, it's heat, right?
Yeah. No, current technology, the heat of a single astronaut could be detected from Earth, and that astronaut could be in orbit around Saturn, a couple billion miles away. So yeah, you're not going to sneak up on anybody unless you're hidden inside something else that they don't expect. Basically, Trojan horse kind of thing.
Yeah, which is definitely a tactic that we've talked about and is used in the game. Over the years, we've also been very honored to receive some recognition regarding realism from places like Atomic Rockets with their seal of approval. I think Winston is amazing. I think that's been a very big honor for us to be on his website. And it's coveted in the sense that, most games can't achieve that. And so it made us very proud. We've also received communications from companies, space companies, and also some government space agencies. I won't name any names, but that reached out to us and expressed real admiration for what we were doing and real surprise that we were able to get this kind of level of realism going and also incorporate strong gameplay, which I think was the biggest challenge. We didn't know ourselves. I'll be quite honest with you. We did not know if it was going to be fun. And we were pleasantly surprised.
I never had any doubts.
All right. Well, I'll say we.
I've been thinking about it for a long time.
I did not know whether, but I thought it was definitely a fascinating thing to try to do. But yeah, you guys, Dave and Jack are the real designers on the project, and so many great titles they've worked on, and that was also instrumental for this project being able to be where we are today. So the reason that the demo was such a big decision is that because this game is so different, and because the level of realism we're doing, and the kind of training and kind of practice you need to do to be able to fly correctly, and just even move around even before the combat starts. It's not everybody's cup of tea. We have some players that will right away will say, this is definitely like not my thing. We had a good comment yesterday actually from a player who said, I'm so horrible at this, but I'm going to buy it anyway because I want to, because this is so cool what you guys have been able to do. And I promise to that player, you will get better. It just takes practice. We've seen it at different conferences and conventions where we've shown gameplay. It just takes time, right? And then there's something happens, something clicks. And then you're able to really be one with the ship in a way and kind of learn how to move. It's just basically learning to ride a bike in a way. But that demo, I think, is super critical because I did not want anybody to play the game or buy the game and be disappointed and that this is not the right fit for them. So my primary motivation for greenlighting the demo was to basically, in a sense, weed out the players who just would not be a good fit for the game. Because I don't want to give anyone a bad experience. I also don't want anybody to spend their hard-earned money on something that they wouldn't enjoy. So before you guys and girls play the early access game and buy it, please play the demo. I highly recommend it. I think it's going to be really helpful for you to know whether you want to put down the money to support the game and be part of the game. Yep.
And please do the training modules.
Absolutely.
It'll take you about 8 minutes or less. And even if you're an experienced pilot and play space games, things are a little different in our game. And to get the best experience, it really helps to do those training modules.
Yeah, I agree. And so that's one of the things that we learned from doing the demo, actually, that we need to have better, when we built the in-game feedback system, we learned that new player ramp up was very important because a lot of people really were confused. So what we did a couple of things. Al worked with Nathan, who's also a great member of the team, to work on some videos and work closely with Dave, I believe, on a lot of those videos and content. So we did a lot of shorts that are on our YouTube channel for the game. So we go In the Black YouTube and go to shorts. You'll see them there. We decided that wasn't good enough, though. We need to put those videos in the game. So we built a system where we can have videos in the games. You don't need to leave the game to watch some of those tutorial videos. But absolutely, and also the ramp up that Dave just said, the training is very important. So take advantage of that stuff. We do as much handholds as we can with these videos, but ultimately it's up to you to kind of take those trainings. But I promise you will be glad you did, and you'll have a much better time playing. Okay, so I'm just catching up on some of these comments. So great. I'll be loading up first thing after I'm done working. I took the day off today, which is why I'm here actually. So for context. Even though I started the project at the studio many years ago, it was always intended to be kind of a hobby side project on the nights and weekends. And that's what it always was for me, actually, since the beginning. There are other members of the team who work on it during the day and during the week. Noah is one of them. Jack, definitely, he juggles a lot during the day. But for me, I really just help support from more of a biz dev perspective and studio management kind of thing on the weekend. So it's been fun for me to kind of see the progress that the developers are making every day and week to week. On the weekends, I can see kind of how much was done and kind of help provide kind of my 2 cents on direction and stuff. So that's been really fun. But that's kind of my role, which is I guess kind of unique. So I took the day off today from work. And I told the team like, we're launching today, and this is a big thing. So I'm really happy to be here with everybody today. Getting some nice comments here on the shorts. The shorts are really helpful. Thanks, Nathan. That's awesome. And Al was very good about helping with those. Got to play the tutorial fun tax. That's a good way to put it. There's another comment coming in from the Good Nine on YouTube. Just purchased. I love the demo. I can't wait to get into it. That's awesome. Well, listen, if you like the demo, then you're definitely going to like the early access game. There's a lot of stuff that's not in the demo. And like I was saying a little earlier, it's a big decision to do a demo, and sometimes at a significant cost to the income of the game, because then people might just gravitate to the demo or never buy the game because the demo's there. But like I said earlier, that was really important to me, and I think that's the right way to do it. And now I feel like the game itself is going to be much healthier, and by doing that in-game feedback system, we've been able to really get a lot of things done that we weren't planning before. In terms of like head tracking and eye tracking, that stuff we really were going to put much later in the project. But man, there's a very vocal group of players who loves that hardware, and I get why. I absolutely get why. Look who's speaking of the devil. Who's here? We were talking about Nathan. Nathan.
Hello.
Yeah, there's
I
that.
joined in there. I had some issues initially, so
that's okay. There's that voice. That we recognize from our videos. So I feel like the demo is just a really important decision. I'm really glad, and we also made the decision to keep the demo up permanently, right? And for the foreseeable future, it will be there, so players can always go there first. And again, I highly encourage people, tell your friends to play, but get them to play the demo first. Make sure it's a good fit. Oh my gosh, look at this comment from NK Powers. 100 hours in the demo. Time to triple it in the end. That's awesome. That's awesome.
You are ready.
That's amazing.
To you, good sir.
This was also a really challenging thing. This comment coming in here. I'm really surprised by the launch price. It's like a gift. So we have talked about this before. This is also one of those things that, you price things different ways, right? You can price them high and then make more money from the players that are, the players you have in, or you can price it low and get more players. I've always been of the mind that it's better to price things low and get more people. Especially a game like this, which is so focused on multiplayer, that having more players in the game is just very important to the success of the franchise long term. And I always like the thought of bringing down the barrier. We talked one day, maybe this game will be free to play. Maybe we'll go the way of Rocket League. And if we hit those level of players and we have enough cosmetics that could support, that would be also amazing. So I would just love the barrier to be zero and anyone could just jump in and play. But that's kind of one of the reasons why we did the demos, that people could play. And maybe they'll play 100 hours for it and save up for the early access. It'd be great. But the pricing was something that was more of like a gut feeling, I think, for members of the team. I don't know. I'm curious how the other developers here on the team feel, but I was one of the ones that was pushing, $19 or $20 or below price point, as opposed to doing something like $40 or something like that, because I just felt like this feels like that's a good value. But how did you guys feel? Did you feel like we made the right choice?
I do. I think we could have gone a little higher, but it is an early access release, so it's not everything we have planned. So buy it now and get a discount. So you will be adding tons of stuff in the coming months. But I think the full release should have a higher price. I do think that.
All right, we'll see. We'll have to fight about that
Yeah.
one. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Nathan, Al, what do you guys think about the price? Curious.
I think $20 for early access is very, very fair, especially for what is being offered. So I think it's a good time to hold your attention. It's $20. It's like a night out, and you get to keep it forever. So
I feel like it's definitely a good balance between like developers and players, because we want to make sure that those players have an opportunity to play something that we're so passionate about, but it also rewards our efforts on the side and getting that from their feedback, you know.
What Al said.
Yes. No, both these are all relevant. Look, and I have to address this comment right away. I'm hoping Track IR will be supported at some point.
It is already supported.
We added Track IR last year, like months ago. I think it was in December or something. So check our Steam page. We have, if you go to the news of our Steam page, you'll see the previous updates. You'll see, I think in December, and we added Track IR. We added Toby. So we have head tracking, eye tracking. Obviously, we want everybody's feedback to see if the implementation works. You know, I've gotten some feedback from people about, different ideas for doing different things. I think so. I think that would be very helpful for us at this point. So try it out. Let us know. Press that F8 button in the game, or you can just access the feedback in the main menu also. But if you're playing, you just press F8 and you give us feedback. Every single one of your notes is read by someone on the team. I promise you that. We usually debate, usually more than one person. We usually debate some of the feedback we get. So very helpful to us. So it is supported, and that again was one of the values of doing the demo, to get that feedback to people, what needed to be fixed, including we've always supported Logitech, HOTA setups, and Thrustmaster. Great companies, great supporters of the project, giving the team hardware for us to test on. So that stuff should all be working. But one of the things that was a surprise to us was the sheer number of devices some people are using. So Noah had to actually do a lot of work to rewrite the input system to be able to manage all the different inputs. So that's something also that came out of the demo. So anyway, so thank you for asking that question so we can clarify it for everybody else. But yes, we do have Track IR support.
I think it's on a live stream, because I think Noah did a live video of him setting up all of the different combinations that you could use in game.
Yeah,
he's doing it live, so might be on one of those.
Maybe we can put that link in the description later. Also,
make a short out of it.
This is a great comment from YouTube. $20 for an early access game that's produced by Passion Devs versus $80 for a buggy AAA game. Easy value decision, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
That's very, so thank you very much for that. And definitely keep us honest. We want to keep hearing feedback. One of the things that's going to be a great part of early access and the release is being able to customize things in the game for cosmetic purposes only. But I think that is going to be super fun because players want to feel kind of ownership over their ships. And their personality needs to come out. And we have a lot of great ideas, some of the stuff which is already available now. But a lot of great ideas for how people can do that, including, so obviously there's skins on the ship and decals and even GIFs actually that can go on the ship on displays and sensor displays. We also have in the works some stuff for the cockpit, so your cockpit can feel more of your own. And you have to remember that effects in the game, a lot of it is in the game universe. The effects are generated, visual effects and the sound effects are generated by decision support system. Is that it, Dave?
A decision support system, yes. Part of the pilot vehicle interface.
That is such a cool thing to actually jump into. And one of the reasons why we can actually support things like visual effects, because the reality is there's no sound in space, right? And imagine a game with no sound. It wouldn't be very fun. But we also were able to take something straight from reality in the real world and apply it to the game. And that is, as most people know, the different militaries of the world do leverage lasers for different things. Right now, there's a lot of talk about lasers and anti-drones and things like that. There is no sound on lasers in real life. So what they do, very similar to what an electric car does, is they add a sound effect so that everyone around that knows that weapon is firing, and that's happening. The same way when a car goes in reverse, you hear the beep, 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 you know that something's happening. Or when an electric car is moving, you hear a little hum. That sound is added in for safety. So in your cockpit, you have this DSS system, which can actually be damaged or destroyed, right, Dave?
Yep.
So that actually, it was constantly scanning the environment and replicating those sounds for situational awareness, which means that those sounds can be customized, because you can, if you don't like one sound, you change another, because that's just a system just picks the sound back. The most important thing is you're hearing some feedback, what it is. So that's a great opportunity to customize things also. We can offer different sound effects. The same goes for visual effects, right? You don't see lasers typically. But we, on the player's windshield, well, I guess, no, it's not windshield. What do you call it in the game?
Canopy.
Canopy, the player's canopy. We have a system that projects things on the canopy so people can actually see things, whether it's different HUD elements, and which means that you can that's used also for simulating different effects. So you see different things happening. So that also be customized. So imagine having custom effects. So these are things that also allow us to have a lower price point, so that people who do want to customize it more and do want to support the project, they can buy those things. And I want to also be very clear about something. We have no intention and no interest in having high price items for cosmetics. Zero. I would much rather, going back to the original philosophy, I said, make things as cheap as possible so a lot of people can enjoy them. So that's going to be the inspiration for all the cosmetics and all the other kind of things and sound effects we're going to be offering. So anyway, thanks for that great comment. That was awesome. Feel free to ask your questions in this live stream. I should have said it right up front. Any question you have on the game, this is also one of the reasons for doing this early access launch live stream. And we have some great experts here and players. And I'm sure you want to hear from the folks with me more than me. So let us know any questions you have on the game. Okay, so and this is actually something we have been thinking about. I think we've had ideas for dice. This player, Super Try Nuts, wants to hear donuts to hang on the river. That's something that can totally be done. So we'd love to hear your ideas. So here's a question coming in from, so look at this player handle. This is very appropriate. From Newtonius on YouTube. Before I buy the game, and this is a deal breaker for me, is there a turbo button?
No.
No turbo.
What is the button we have?
Well, so turbo meaning there's a sudden burst of speed, like afterburners, would be an analogy. It actually is something that we could look into. Currently, that isn't something that we've implemented.
So basically, we have a throttle in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And very directional, right? Because there are how many? I guess it depends on the ship. For most people, will probably be starting with the Shrike. So how many directions does the throttle work on the Shrike?
Well, throttle is controlling your main engine thrust.
I'm talking about the other
RCS thrusters.
RCS thrusters.
RCS thrusters, yeah, they're all over the ship.
So depending on the ship, they're in different locations, right?
Yeah. Like most of the ships, it's rather a sensible layout of RCS thrusters, literally all around the ship, pointed in different directions, just like real world spacecraft. The exceptions really are the Colibri, which effectively has main thrusters in every direction. So it's one of the most agile ships in the game.
It's awesome.
And the Pegasus assault transport, there's a variant that has cascade vane thrusters attached to the sides. And even though it's the size of a very large, heavy armored bus, it's also quite nimble because of those cascade vane thrusters. Very
cool. I'm following the comments here. One one player is saying that, they don't like the idea of any kind of cosmetics in the game, so they're out. That's okay. That's the whole reason why we're sharing all this information. There are definitely other games that you buy it and you're done. And again, you don't need to buy any cosmetics. You can buy early access, and that's
it's just
it.
an option,
Just an option. All right. So here is a great comment for Dave. Everybody likes your voice, Dave. Coming in from YouTube. Well, the devs all voice ship computers. I want David telling me my engines are breaking down.
Here.
Funny you should mention that. I have been writing some scripts for some new training modules, and we did think about analogous to the cosmetic packs, that we could have some audio packs, and you could select new music, new voices. It's definitely something we're planning to do.
I think it'd be so funny if you were on specifically for Leith and Jack was specifically for North Star, and you both would be talking against each other like, "Oh, go get that
Actually,
guy."
though, that'd be awesome.
Okay, I'm just looking. We're getting a lot of messages coming in from different places. You might see my head turning around a lot during the stream. But thank you. That was a really great. I think that's one of the great areas of customization is actually, Dave, we should talk about Betty a little bit. There's a lot of great opportunities there to have different voices in the game for sure. But I, for the one we have, I actually really like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's based on the real world research that showed that, well, since most combat pilots are male, they respond better to a female voice. And for the really big emergencies, a little girl's voice that sounds like your daughter will definitely get your attention. But I mean, this is a game and it's meant to be entertaining, so I can imagine going with some very idiosyncratic choices. That's an area where it doesn't have a huge impact on the gameplay, really, other than it's pure entertainment. If you've got, I used to do impressions. I don't think I'm particularly good at them, but I could do Clint Eastwood or Mr. Rogers or.
Heck yeah.
Mr. Rogers in the cockpit would be insane.
Just a Mr. Rogers voice pack. Just get
Well, hi there, neighbor.
Yeah, be
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
I see that you got a kill there. That's
That is awesome.
Now remember not to use full thrust all the time because you'll run out of propellant. Can you say propellant?
That's amazing. That's actually amazing.
That's awesome.
Collisions imminent. Watch out there.
Oh gosh.
All right, so there's a great question here. Was a couple of good questions coming in. Also, for the players who are in early access now, once you get some good time, we would love it and really appreciate it and really help the team if you write a Steam review. That's really helpful to other players thinking about it. Be honest. Hopefully you really enjoy the experience, but post your review that it'll really be helpful to other players. And like I said earlier, the whole reason of the demo is to try to make it really clear what kind of game this is and what kind of game this isn't. So hopefully that's that we shouldn't have anyone who's very surprised when they're playing the game because of the free demo. All right, another good question here we've got. This is coming in from YouTube again. Any more less aerodynamic looking ships? Yes. Most of our ships actually are not aerodynamic. We have a couple that do. I think the Shrike, kind of aerodynamic looking, but those are really sensors and not wings. Mm-hmm. And I guess the Hyperion.
Yeah, the Hyperion does at first glance look
but the
like
Pegasus. The Pegasus does not look
fighter jet, but it's not. The Calibri absolutely doesn't. The Reyes doesn't. There's a lot of ships on the drawing board yet to come along. That was one of the things our science advisor and chief spacecraft designer, Dr. Zach Al-Haj, he came up with some incredible designs that are really unlike anything I've seen in any space game or science fiction film, and they're all based on the idea that they could actually be built. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing too. This is also really interesting to note is that there's nothing wrong with aerodynamic ships in space. You don't need it that way, but if it's a style thing, look at all the different kinds of styles of car we have in the street, right? It just makes no impact, right, on the way the ship moves. But if you like that style, that's your thing. All power to you. Go for it. I think that's fine. And you're gonna. I think in the real world, you're gonna see this. Just like we have with cars, you see some silly looking cars or cars that you would never buy, or trucks, right? That they still work the same way, right? It's the same thing. So I think hopefully you'll find a ship that you know and love. And we'll talk about a little bit more on the roadmap a little bit later. But yeah, whether it's aerodynamic looking or not, it all acts the same in space. Okay, so here's another question about joysticks. How about using joysticks? Coming in from Twitch, from Mindburnt. I have dual Gladiator Evo joysticks with modules, and I would like to use them to fly ship. First of all, awesome. That sounds like a cool setup. I would love to hear from you trying the demo. You don't need to pay anything. Trying the demo. I think our system is pretty robust in supporting different hardware, but we've done a lot of testing with Logitech and Thrustmaster because that's the hardware we had. But give us your feedback and let us know. We're very happy to try to address things that maybe impacting players that have different hardware setups. So, but you should be able to use them. This is a very niche game. We know that there are a lot of flight sim players with really cool setups. Dave and I have actually set one up once at I think it was at PAX East or Gamescom, where we had a really nice Gamescom.
Yeah, we had the whole cockpit set up.
It was great. The throttle, we had the pedals, and it was awesome. And that was years ago, and that was working in the game. So it's even much better now. So you should be able to do it, but use that F8 button. Let us know. Again, I promise you read every piece of feedback that's there. I will say generally, we also have a great Discord server with players, and that's a great place to talk to other players. But for feedback is most helpful, most impactful in the F8 in-game system, because that's tied to a lot of our back end. We can see, we can view, we can prioritize, we can assign, right? When we see feedback in other places, there's a lot of steps that goes to bring that over. Not saying that we don't look at that stuff. We look at everything as much as we can, but we look first and prioritize stuff that's in game. We did that because we know that feedback, the one that happens in your brain when you're playing, is going to be the most detailed, the most important, right? People write feedback an hour later or 2 hours later, details start to get a little murky. So use that in-game feedback system, F8. That was something that I learned a valuable lesson from another game that I love, Subnautica. Subnautica had a fantastic in-game feedback system. We don't have screenshots or video files incorporated into ours. I wish we did, and maybe we will in the future. But Subnautica really just was masterclass in leveraging feedback from the players, and really just a fantastic team. So. Very cool. Let me see. Here's a comment coming in from Mindburnt from Twitch. If it is compatible with joysticks like Thrustmaster, Virpil, and Gladiator, then I would like to share the game I started as a fan group. I would love that. But confirm it first, and invite other players from that group to try the demo. They could try the demo. It's worth noting that the demo is not something we just threw together months ago and it left. The demo is always evolving and being updated. And it shares a lot of the same code as the main game. So we are continually updating and improving it. So your feedback in the demo, again, pressing F8, could be impactful for a demo patch. Speaking of patches, I got word a few minutes ago that there probably will be a patch at some point later today, a little hot fix that fixes something with a multiplayer co-op. So we're paying attention to anything that you might see. So let us know if there's something not working in the release today. Actually, I'm going to ask, because I can't keep my eye on so many screens at the same time, if one of you guys has a minute to double check and make sure, maybe check with Mike, make sure everything's going okay, and nothing we need to, one of us needs to jump off the stream to help with. That would be super helpful. You don't have to leave the stream. If you could just tap them on our internal chat, that'd be great. I just want to make sure I'm not ignoring anyone's message. But thank you for that great comment. Okay, let me see. Here's a great follow-up. In space, that's actually the perfect excuse to design vehicles that are aerodynamic or not. There's nothing wrong with it. It's really just a matter of human aesthetics, after all. And that's he said it much better, or she said it much better than I could have.
As long as they obey radial symmetry in their mass distribution.
Yeah. Okay, so I love this question. Do you plan to add new factions? So we have a great vision for the game, and the narrative part of the game, I think, is something that I am myself is one of the things that really excites me about the franchise, because the idea of different corporations and different backstories and different players moving from one to the other, I think is fascinating. And for us being able to track a lot of the data from how corporations are doing different matches, we can look at that data and kind of craft an evolving story after that. So that's my 2 cents, but I'll leave it to the professional here. Dave, what do you think?
Definitely. The currently, I'm not even sure how we chose Lethe and North Star as the 2 factions that are represented, because the starter ship is produced by Song Manufacturing, which is a subsidiary of Patalis Union, one of the 5 megacorporations. Each of the megacorps has at least a dozen or more subsidiaries, and usually at least 1 or 2 or 3 of those are spacecraft manufacturers. So there, and then there's other entities beyond those 5 megacorps that are more or less independent. Lethe is actually not a megacorp. It's a radical anti-corporate faction that just wants to be left alone. So there's a lot of world building that's been done that we hope to incorporate more of it explicitly into the game. It's all on the roadmap.
Absolutely. I think, and I love this comment. I don't know if you guys can see it. Not even in space can I escape the looming threat of a megacorp.
Not when they're colonizing it.
They're paying, right? That's where they're paying the big bucks. So very cool. I also love this question because we've gotten this a lot of, and you know, I'm sure Dave, you've gotten this too. I know in my past game projects, this has always come up with multiplayer games. And it's funny because this group of players is relatively small in the scheme of things, right? But they're very like the controllers, folks. They're very vocal. Will the game be supported on Linux eventually? So it already is. It's on. It works on the Steam Deck, and I think that's one of the most awesome things. And I was very surprised that the game was running so nicely on Steam Deck on our first initial testing of it. It's a beefy game. There's a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of math with this game, with using realistic physics. Yes. So this was really a pleasant surprise. And I think what we're trying to do is really make sure our FAQ is really detailed and expansive. So Dave Wessman is owning that FAQ. I know you got to catch up.
It needs an update.
Needs an update. Dave, it's on the air
needs
now.
An update. The pilot manual needs an update. Yeah,
you own it, and we'll talk about the pilot manual too. But that's a good note for us. If any players out there want to help, we have a great wiki page on Fandom, I think, that players can actually be involved with and post. So if any players that don't want to help out, we would really appreciate it. Sometimes there's a lot to keep up with, but I think this is a good question that we should make sure that it's very clear to everybody. Okay, Dave, this is a great question for you.
Story-driven campaigns. What?
No.
Yeah, this is. We envisioned originally that we would be tracking loyalty, kind of like in if any of you ever played Saints Row, the different gangs and the law enforcement have a different opinion of you based on your interactions with them. And we wanted to incorporate that in a dynamic system for the game's narrative, so that if you took a contract that told you go attack this North Star base, then that would maybe make it a lot more expensive for you to buy stuff from North Star. Maybe they wouldn't even sell to you anymore. And then the idea was that we would track all the data over a set period of time, maybe weeks or months. Well, probably not more than a month. And then just do a statistical analysis, and the faction that came out ahead, that would become the canon for the developing story. And then we would start incorporating purpose-driven story elements that would provide more context for the different battles and engagements. One of the original ideas to frame the entire conflict was just about, it's not just mega corporations fighting over who controls the resources. It's the corporations that dominate the inner system want to hold on to the old ways of doing things. The inner system is the source for most of the heavy minerals and metals. The outer system is more the volatiles, and they want to push more towards a fusion economy. So there's a built-in conflict there. In fact, one of the battle spaces that we've created around Saturn is a metal-rich asteroid we've called Bhadrakali that's been towed into orbit around Saturn. So the mega corporations there can start to cut ties and be more independent from the inner corporations, the inner system corporations.
Well, I think why don't we also explain kind of what's working in the game right now in terms of the early access and playing as a single player if you're not playing multiplayer stuff. Or did we lose Dave? Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was reading the comments. I don't multitask well. What did you just say?
Why don't we give more context on what's in the early access build now if you're not a big multiplayer player?
Yeah. So currently there's I think 6 or 8 single player contracts that will also be able to be played with 2 to 4 players if you want to do co-op, so PvE. The simulation mode that has the training modules also has some single player challenges like instant action. We've got one called Proving Ground that's going to be introduced soon. And we've got others planned. And the PvP multiplayer mode, Bloodsport, it's designed for 5 versus 5 team play, but you can play it by yourself. It's just everything else will be populated by bots. So there's no requirement that you ever engage in actual PvP play unless you want to.
Okay, that's great. I love that. And there are definitely players I understand who prefer single player, players who prefer multiplayer, never touch a single player. So I think we've got good support for both. There's a lot of replayability also. I think that's also pretty important to mention, right? And a lot more to come. We're going to talk about the roadmap in a few minutes. So stay tuned for that. Okay, here's a good suggestion. We talked about the FAQ earlier. Make sure to put your info in Steam guides where possible. So Dave, that's a good note to you. Because Google Games for Games stuck. Steam guides is my holy bastion of information. So that's great. And I think most players will probably go to Steam. Even though we want players coming over our Discord and stuff, I think a lot of players are just used to the Steam ecosystem and platform, so they'll put a lot of stuff there. So we should make sure we cover bases there. We try to stay on top of Steam discussion areas also. And I
know this individual, and she is uniquely talented in breaking games.
I love it. Those are very helpful.
So I can't wait for her feedback. Yes, indeed.
Like challenge accepted.
Amazing. Okay, another follow-up comment on the eye tracking. I see Tobii eye tracker support. How do you send the view? Okay, so Alex, I mean, Dave, you have that maybe you can ask Alex really quick because I don't want to say the wrong because I don't use it.
I don't either.
We can check with Alex if Alex wants to integrate a system. Maybe one of us could check, and then we'll circle back and answer you in a few minutes. Mm-hmm. But good question. I'll keep you asterisk on that on that question as we come back to it. And someone said, you can buy a key. I used home. There you go.
There you
go. Okay. So why don't we talk about the? Oh, go ahead.
Somebody asked about the roadmap. That is on the Steam page right now.
Yeah, just let me see. Maybe one of us. Let me see if I can share my page here. So let's talk about the roadmap a little bit. Let me just look at my outline here before we do that. Okay, so I'm going to show the roadmap on the screen. We just published this earlier today. Some of the team members thought it may be good to release the roadmap next week. So we had some good stuff to share next week, but I felt it was more important that players saw the roadmap right on day one so they can decide whether they wanted to jump on early access or not. I think it's important. So we did that earlier. And let's take a look at the Steam page now. I don't know if our stream is working. I'll tell if we're there now. Looks like it's trying to stream.
Oh, is it not working? Because I have been streaming and
Yours is working, but we're supposed to be streaming this also there. But because I see yours, that means that ours isn't working. So that's fine.
well, maybe if I stop mine, yours will
you
show
don't have
up.
to stop. The way the system works is whenever we try from our official account, it should override whatever's there. So you don't touch anything. It's probably something with StreamYard. Okay, so let me see. Where is I think we put the roadmap towards the bottom. So you have to go to read more on the Steam page. Okay, let me see. This monitor is really big. Let me see if this looks okay. Bear with me a little bit.
Yeah, it's so much going on over there.
I know there's a lot happening. All right, let me see. I'm going to share my screen. I'll turn off audio here. Okay, so this is our current Steam page. Edge stage. Okay, let me make this a little bigger for everybody. Let me know if this is. Can you guys read this okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so this is on the Steam page. If you just scroll down a little bit, hit the read more, you'll hit the early access roadmap. As the note says here, this is subject to change, of course, because we're going to be adjusting this based on tech, based on feedback. We could reorder things or remove based on progress and community support. We also did not want to assign dates to any of this because it's a little up in the air about how quickly some of these things can get done. My general hope is that early access would be less than a year. That's my hope. A lot of that will depend on the traction we get in the community over the coming weeks, and to help determine the amount of resources we can put on doing these items or others. So we broke them down to phases. So we have new contracts here, one of which includes electronic information warfare, some new music. We've gotten requests over since we did the demo for VJoy support, which I think would be great. So that's one of the first things we'll knock out. Bloodsport map cycle. Dave, are you familiar with some of these items here? The Bloodsport map cycle.
The idea, I believe, is to ensure a nice rotation through the different Bloodsport modes and the different battle spaces that are available. So basically make sure that you don't see the same thing over and over again, because if it's purely random, you can get repeats, and I think most players would prefer not to have that happen.
Yeah. Also heat management I see here, which is a big part of the game. So what do we have now in terms of heat management?
I should know this.
This is
your weapons overheat.
Yeah, because lasers do primarily heat damage, and the systems that get affected by it, that are most vulnerable to it, are like your sensors. And sometimes you'll see visual effects on screen where your MFD and HUD elements will become corrupted, even just briefly and temporarily, but that's usually the result of thermal overload. The weapons, the lasers and the autocannons in particular, generate heat when you fire them, and they will overheat and stop firing until they've cooled down. And the idea that you're running a nuclear powered spacecraft, it's generating a lot of heat right there to heat up the propellant, and that heat's got to go somewhere. And if your thermal management system is damaged, then your ship can overheat to the point where it's sort of a cascade of system failures. The simulation of that has currently been abstracted quite a bit because it was killing performance. That's an area where the programmers are doing a serious overhaul to optimize the performance and bring back a more realistic simulation. So that becomes a more meaningful gameplay factor to think about.
Great.
And that will, related to that, is when you customize your ship. Right now, when you go to the hardpoint editor, all you're able to do really is swap out the mounts and the actual weapons. Down the road, you'll be able to swap out engines, sensors, and other systems. And one of the attributes you might be willing to pay more for is a more efficient thermal heat management system, so that your guns can fire more continuously, for example.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so so that will be part of phase 1, and like I said, things might be subject to change here, and then we move on to phase 2. We have combat role support, Pegasus variant support role there, cockpit rework Pegasus. That's actually, so we've gotten a lot of feedback on cockpits and the MFDs. Super helpful. I think one of the challenges, so the Shrike cockpit is, I think, something we've heard the most about in terms of the cockpit's kind of very big and bulky, and it doesn't look very very modern. But you have to understand, the Shrike is actually, in the game universe, is like the Jeep of the ships, right? It's one of the old.
Yeah, it's been around for like 100 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's intentionally
Kind of like the B-52, which is going on its 70th year of
yeah, but still
operational
works.
service.
Sturdy and reliable.
Exactly.
So yeah, as you see other ships in the game, you'll see there's very difference in terms of design and technical look and feel. But I love the Shrike. I think the Shrike's a really cool ship. We have a cool video on how the Shrike was designed. Actually, I'll look for it. We'll play it in a bit. Anyway, so I think what we'll probably end up doing is diving into more of some of these design and maps, which Jack has been really more intimately involved with, and a live stream this weekend, which we're planning to do with LT Gaming. We love some of the people that have been really sharing news and updates about the game. LT Gaming's, one of the best. Really appreciate their great coverage of the game. So we're excited to have them join us for a live stream, hopefully this weekend. That's what we've been talking about with them. They've just been fantastic. I just love all the content they produce on all its different space games they cover. So really honored to be part of their rotation. And Obsidian Ant, also another great creator, done some great content. So thank you so much for the great videos you've been producing and your words and your feedback. We all listen to it and really appreciate it. Let us know if you're interested in covering the game. You have any questions for us? We're happy to help. We have our Discord server, discord.gg/intheblack. That's a player Discord. And moving on to phase 3. This is cool. We're going to have drone control, more blood sport, mayhem, and a new contract called The Ridge. So hopefully we're going to get Dave and someone else to dive into more of the and Jack and Dave and maybe one of another designer of the game to come on in the weekend. We'll dive into more of these. But unless Dave, you want to address any of these in phase 2?
Well, I'm really excited about Iapetus, the Ridge, because that's one of the weirdest moons in the Saturn system.
Mm-hmm. Why is it weird?
It's got this equatorial ridge that it's basically like a mountain range that's several kilometers high, and Iapetus has a very dark side and a very light side, so it's just visually very striking. And there's a really cool CG film called The Wanderers that extrapolates human exploration of the solar system, and there's one little sequence focused on the Iapetus Ridge, and it shows a whole series of structures built into the ridge, and that inspired this battle space that we're creating.
Very cool. That sounds awesome. Very cool. Okay, so the roadmap is on our Steam page, so just go to read more, and I'm sure there'll be a nice discussion thread on that on the player Discord server I gave out a minute ago. So again, for anyone just tuning in, we are talking about the early access launch for In the Black, more than 10 years in the making. We're going through the history, the design, the team, the future plans, and the community, most importantly. So let us know any questions you have on the game. We're happy to answer it live here. This will be available on YouTube afterwards for replaying. But very happy to have this moment with everybody in the community for a game that we've been a love and passion for us for many years. So really excited. Okay, so let me see. Let me catch up to some of the questions we see here. Okay, some people helping each other with some controls. And Dave has produced and is working on updating a really valuable resource that will make sure it's part of the Steam guides, but that's a pilot manual. So there's a link to that manual from the Steam page. And it's pretty in depth, I'll say. It's not we probably need to also do a little quick start, which I think we're going to do in a few minutes. So Dave's going to walk us through like what he recommends the player does to start the early access game for best a few minutes of the game. But yeah, we're going to hit that. And so it's a great question coming in right now. We'll possibly see some gameplay on stream. Yes. So Dave, let me know when you want to spin it up.
I've got it ready to go now.
Yeah. So I guess, the thing is, we are streaming it right now to our Steam page. So anyone can watch on Steam, and Dave's got his stream playing there. So you can maybe keep that on one monitor and us on the other, or just, listen to us and watch the stream, but he's playing on the other monitor. So just go to the Steam page and you'll see it right there at the top. Okay, so yeah, Dave replied there. I've been broadcasting this whole time on our Steam page. Okay, here's a question coming in from Twitch. Is this dedicated flight, or is there an FPS on it? It's dedicated flight. This is a space combat sim from the cockpit experience. We have some cool ideas for takeover of ships and things like that, but it will never be an FPS game. And there's a couple good reasons for that. One thing I learned from earlier games is that you have a much greater chance of success, and also much greater chance to actually be impactful and do something innovative if you focus on one thing and you make that one thing really awesome. So our goal is to focus on the space combat and make it really awesome. I think there are many other games that do great things with FPS. It would not be a good fit for our team or for the story of this game to do that. But I play those games just like everybody, so I love them. So great question there. So thanks for asking that. Okay, let me see. This is a question on the Hostess and HOTUS. Are there predefined presets? Is this something you have to configure manually? Is it possible to share the presets with others? Let's go to Dave.
If I'm not mistaken, we should have something on Steam, I believe, already, because I think Alex and Noah were working on the configuration. I can't remember if you needed to download that and then it would be put into the game file and then that would go over.
Yeah, I'm looking at settings right now, and it looks like there are default setups for a gamepad and for mouse and keyboard. There isn't anything yet set up. And that was actually something I was supposed to do, so I need to get on that. I was going to set up a HOTAS and a HOSAS setup, but I have a couple different sets of gear from Thrustmaster to do that with, but I don't have everything. Among the team, there's a lot more hardware manufacturers than that we haven't gotten their gear yet. But the whole idea behind the input system is that it will work with anything. You just have to do the setup yourself. What we're hoping is that members of the community that have different setups will share their profiles with the community, and that way we can see what people respond to. It's like, yeah, this guy's nailed it. This is a really good profile, and then we could incorporate that into the game and just make it a default that's available. And then you could customize that default, so you wouldn't have to set up the whole thing. You could just make the tweaks that suit your own preferences.
Okay, very cool. Thank you for that. And I got a quick note here from our tech lead Noah, who's on a few minutes ago. They're working on a patch that addresses some issues they're seeing with contracts and multiplayer. So they've already got a solution on the way. May not happen until tomorrow in terms of the patch. So that's kind of going to be a day one patch for us, or day two. So we'll keep people updated on the Discord server. So if you want to get the inside scoop minute to minute, that's probably a good place to go. Our devs are hanging out there. Outside of that, it looks like I'm getting word that that the launch has been really smooth from a technical perspective. Aside from that, so good job, team. No major things. Okay, let's take a look at some of these questions that are coming in. Okay, I'm reading through some things here because some players are awesome and responding to each other here.
There's one from Pyfrac that's kind of interesting about variants of hulls.
Oh, I see it. Okay, here we go.
It's more of a statement than a question, but it's something that could be spoken.
I struggle sometimes to understand the difference between two variants of the same hull. I don't know, Dave, you want to take that one?
Usually the most noticeable difference is the number of hard points. And then when that's not a really distinguishing feature, it's the size of those hard points and the default weapons that are attached to them and the size of those weapons. So generally speaking, as you progress through the variants that cost more, that cost is justified by improved performance, usually in terms of lethality.
And the different ship types, they do have like for I think the Shrike. If I'm in a match right now, but like the different variants of the Shrikes have like different amounts of thrusters, and they are faster, tougher. So and you can get missiles eventually, which is always exciting too. So
yes, I just got promoted and
there you go.
to flight officer, which is that. Anyway, our rank titles sometimes don't make sense to even me. But yeah, that unlocked the stiletto version of the Shrike, which is the top version available right now. And it comes with a couple of autocannons, a nice railgun, and a quad missile launcher.
And you can always customize those.
Yes, and I need to make a little bit of money so I can upgrade the railgun.
Some nice comments coming in. 10 years. Well, congratulations on the launch. I just bought it. We'll try later. Awesome. Let us know how you feel. Another comment. I'm going to play demo tonight before I buy. It does look promising. Good. Let us know how you like the demo.
You guys should play it together.
That's what it's there for. What's that?
They should play it together. You know?
Yeah. Well, are they both playing the demo? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they should. Okay, so let me see. Another comment here. Thank you for answering and thanks for making yourself available. Of course. Yes, happy to. I love it. So keep the questions coming in. Here's a good question coming in also from Twitch. Do you plan to add fine tuning in flight for some of the modules? I guess what kind of fine tuning would you need to do? Because right, you have to select your modules beforehand. And we're going to take a stab. And unless you want to add some more details to this question, feel free. But and then when we take a stab at it.
I mean, if they're talking about how like flight feels like currently, I mean, there was a big drastic difference compared to what we had back at Next Fest compared to what we have now as far as how it feels flying the ship. But as far as the modules are concerned, I don't know if that's like I'm not really sure.
Okay, well, feel free to add more details on that. We'll circle back. And here's a nice update. Wow, in real time. Mine burned. Okay, I can say the VK Beat Gladiator Evo sticks are working great. Great work. Yeah. So I'll create a post in my group and wish you good luck with more sales. Thank you so much. Thanks for confirming that. That's really good to know. And kudos to Noah and the team for really making sure that system was as robust as possible to support different hardware. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Well, the game on Linux, it should because it runs on Steam Deck, which is Linux, as most people know. So you should be good. Yep, the same criteria. Linux folks are in full force tonight, so thank you. Thank you for asking. This definitely should be included as part of our FAQ in the Steam guide. Anytime we see a question asked more than once, it should kind of go in there. Okay, here we go. And then, he said, I didn't see there were different sizes of weapons. Okay, so thanks for that. Here's a great question that's worth chatting about for a couple minutes.
Mm.
Again, I think Dave's streaming on the other screen here, so feel free to take a look at the gameplay that he's got on his screen and listen to us chat if you want. VR is one of the things that from day one of this project, I just thought that this would be perfect, natural fit, especially in those early days of VR when we started this. You know, there weren't a lot of experiences that VR was a good fit for, but a cockpit experience, including cars and things like that, that's perfect, right? Because the problem with VR at that time, especially, was people getting a little sick from moving around. But if you're locked into a seat, it's very natural for VR. I think in our first Kickstarter video, we have a nice clip of Dave testing out one of the original headsets. And so it is definitely our every intention to support VR if we can. And that is based on two things. One is if we have enough revenue coming in from the game for us to be able to assign developers to be able to work on the VR, because it's not just a switch, unfortunately. It requires a pretty big overhaul of some things in the game to work correctly. In terms of the user interface, especially in some of the art in the game. So it's so we have to make sure there's enough of a reason to. So we need to make sure that enough players there's a market for it, and that we have enough resources to be able to do it. The VR market has not been the most friendly to game developers. It's been really tough. And you don't need to really do too much looking online to read some of the stories. But I do think if we can, I absolutely want to. I want to play it myself. I have all the latest headsets as well. So I would love. I'd love to support VR. So in our hearts, yes. We'll see if we have the resources to be able to do it. That really depends on the community. But thank you for that question. It's good. We'll make sure that gets in the FAQ as well. Okay, and again, just more confirmation. I'm running VKB sticks, MFG pedals, and a Thrustmaster throttle. All work fine. That's amazing.
Cool. That's very cool.
Very cool. And follow up on that from the same player on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching on Twitch. Mapping is pretty easy as well. Nice. Yeah. That's also hats off to Noah. Okay, so let's see. Nice question coming in, or comment coming in from YouTube. Love the game and the vibe. I was just configuring my BKB. Is there a way to specify value on the curve for inputs other than the bar? I can't fix that too, for example. I don't think so, but I think that's something that Noah was looking at, I believe. Mm-hmm. Noah, if you're listening, feel free to let me know. We'll have to circle back on this. And we're going to do another stream this weekend. So if you want to see where our streams are next, you can go to our Discord server, and we usually try to post them there and announce in the event area. You can also follow us on YouTube. That would be super helpful. Follow our YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch right now. That way you'll be notified. We also had a calendar, which we really haven't been updating because we're not doing streams regularly enough to be able to make that make sense for people to subscribe. But maybe we'll look at that again. But we always talk about the timing on the player Discord server. So, and I follow on social, right? Because I'll post them on our X account. What else are you posting on Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. Here's a great comment coming in, thanking the other player for the information. Thanks. I was about to ask him on BKB sticks and pedals. Been waiting for a long time for this game. Old Star Citizen player. Awesome. I can't wait for Star Citizen, actually, the future updates. If you watched it earlier in the stream, one of my inspirations and just loves as a kid was playing Wing Commander. So I'm a big fan of Chris Roberts and want that to be very successful. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So very glad to see some Star Citizen players interested in the black. That's always good to hear. All right. I think we're caught up on most of the questions. Let me see. I think I started one earlier. Okay, that's we have to check on the Tobii eye tracker to see how to center the view. If one of you guys has a chance to ping Alex T and ask him if we have an answer for that, we can update the thread here. So thank you for that. All right, so let me look at my schedule here to see so this is our early access launch live stream. We'll stay on as long as people have questions and comments. Again, for those of you who are playing the early access build right now, we would absolutely be forever grateful if you posted a Steam review after you have a chance to play the game. Those are very impactful for visibility and to let other players know if the game's the right fit for them. So thank you for doing that. And again, Thank you for tuning in today. All right, so we should. Okay, Dave. I don't know. Do you want to? I don't know if you would. You have to stop your other stream. Can you share your gameplay here, your gameplay screen here, and walk people into starting from the early access?
Let's try. If need be, I can stop the broadcast on Steam.
Otherwise, I'm in the game too.
Oh, you are? Okay. Yeah. So why don't you, Dave? You can walk Nathan through your tips, like you're his mentor.
The tips and tricks. Oh, I just went into a match. Oh, all right, hang on. You got to hear so we can.
Okay. Well, he's doing that. Thank you so much, Nathan. That's
Should
awesome.
I present then?
Yep. Go ahead and share your screen. I'll put it on the screen as soon as I see it.
Share screen. Yep.
Here's a great comment coming in. Also, this is so cool to see. This is super exciting for me. I'm an old Elite Dangerous player, over 5,000 hours. Hats off to you, my friend. I can't wait for an alternative. I will be happy to share my feedback. Keep up the good work. That's awesome, man. Well, listen, it sounds like you've gotten your money's worth out of Elite Dangerous. That's amazing. Let us know what you take out of. It'd be really interesting to hear feedback from our citizen Elite Dangerous players about what they like or don't like about In the Black. Any suggestions they have, because especially people like you with so many hours, it'd be really good to know. Okay, I think we're looking at Nathan's screen. Nathan has done amazing job producing.
I'm a really good player, by the way. I just want that known. All of this that you see here is all me.
You could
rolling in that.
This is for video stuff. But I promise that when I'm playing against players, I'll use the other. I'm using the Shrike at the moment. So
that's so funny.
All
right,
cool.
Let me see. Yes. So Dave, okay, so we talked about this the other day. Dave was saying how I think it'd be really helpful to walk some players in when you start early access. What are the first things you do as a pilot? What are the things you always do when you start a mission to help give you the best chance of success, or to start off with the right settings?
So depending on the ship, it's like the Shrike. By default, the starboard MFD is already set to radar warning receiver mode. The other ships don't have that as a default, so that's one of the first things I do. So yeah, your port is set to modules, which is fine. I like to keep it there.
I believe it's you press. Oh, geez, it's press. Forget the control to go to the mouse. I don't really change.
Hold the control. Yeah, hold down control. That gives you the mouse cursor, so then you can interact with the different MFDs.
Okay, so sorry.
And in the Shrike, the only one that I routinely switch is the primary MFD in the center, which defaults to ship status, which is telling you about your own ship. And yeah, I love exactly what you did. Yeah, that one is nice too. I switch it to target status because I'm going to be shooting at things. It's something I've asked for that in the future, when you target something, it will automatically switch to target status mode. But for right now, you have to do that manually. The other thing I like to do is quickly go to my CWIS capable weapons and put them in CWIS mode.
Oh, wait. Okay. So talk about CWIS for a second, because there are many people watching who might not know what CWIS is.
Right.
I'll go over here and take down some stats while you talk about it.
Some hard points can accept gimbal mounts, and gimbal mounts can accept auto cannons, lasers, whatnot. And in normal mode, they aim where you look. And if you target something, they'll basically lock onto that target and they'll just aim at it automatically, and you can just pull the trigger and they'll fire. In CWIS mode, they'll fire automatically at any hostile thing that is nearby, whether that's a mine, a drone, a missile, or an enemy fighter.
Let's try spinning. That's a good trick.
And there's one thing to keep in mind is that you do have limited ammunition. And if you have CWIS mode switched on with your guns, you might find yourself out of ammunition pretty quickly. So I do pay attention to that, and I switch it off when I know I don't really need it.
And for new players too, the like the GSUs and VDBs, they like to lock on at a range of like 5 kilometers. They can hit at that. You can, but they're more effective at like 2 kilometers and in. So Just an FYI. That's
Kind
Yeah.
of want to treat them like shredders if somebody's
Yep.
getting too close.
Like they're good for when a missile's coming in. By the time you're shooting, it's already I close that distance about halfway, so you might as well have it going. But yeah, you'll run out of ammo real quick if you don't watch that. For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's one of myriad variables that we keep tweaking and adjusting, and sometimes we overcorrect. For a while, missiles were just way too dominant, and so we improved the capabilities of CWIS weapons to defeat missiles, and we went too far and missiles became almost useless. So there's going to be some back and forth there. The other thing is down the road as we add more and more weapons, there'll be incremental upgrades for weapons, and there'll be, like, if you bought a very cheap missile, it's something that's probably not entirely reliable. It's more vulnerable to countermeasures, and so there's an incentive to pay for more expensive missiles. But then, of course, if I fire an expensive missile and it doesn't do anything, I've lost a lot of cash.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of trade-offs in terms of the performance attributes of the weapon systems and how much they cost. A lot of tuning. So the more players, the more data, and the better that tuning will get.
And that's always good.
Yeah. What was the other things in the getting started? Once you enter a mission, depending on the battle space, like for instance, the Conquest, the Belt, it's a cluster of asteroids, and depending on your position, you might be in the shadows and it's black and you don't even realize that there's a big rock right in front of you. And so you need to enable active sensors by pressing the J key if you're doing mouse and keyboard. And that's an augmented vision mode that will light everything up in the neighborhood, so you can see. It's also handy when you're indoors navigating the mining facilities, tunnels, and such. But it also produces a kind of a washed out look. So I sometimes turn it off just because the game is prettier in the normal lighting. That's another thing we're looking at adjusting. It makes sense that the companies that produce various sensors would offer better performance, something that looks nicer or does more. The range at which things are accurately detected and tracked. There's a lot of different attributes for weapon systems and sensors that we're going to be making them not just more realistic, but more interesting to explore and kind of define your play style and how you adjust your own play style based on the circumstances. This is this environment. This is we've been calling it blind spot for the longest time. The idea here is that somebody was doing some illegal antimatter weapons research, and there was an accident, and they basically fractured one of Saturn's moons, Pallini, which is inside the ring structure. So it's also a very visually interesting environment.
I'm a terrible shot. Ignore my gameplay. I'm the worst.
You just gotta find the dot.
I gotta find the dot. I know. I like the dot.
Pretty dot.
So in this particular scenario, one team is launching from an Atlas II class carrier, which is actually a converted mining vessel, and the other team is launching from this secret base hidden inside this moon. And for both teams, the objective is either wipe out the opposing team or take out their reactor. The reactor on the Atlas is inside. You got to go into the hangar bay, and the reactor on the Lethe base is inside that that
That
hangar that you
hole.
can see right there.
Hangar
Yeah.
bay.
Oh God, that got dark real quick. See, it's a dark side of the moon over here.
What are some of the other things? Oh, this is more of an advanced piloting thing. By default, right now we have some pilot assist features: the rotational dampener and a translational dampener, and they give a more basically where you're pointing the ship, that's where you're going, assuming you're applying thrust. And that's great when you're in close quarters, like right now. Nathan's flying inside this moon base. Out in open space, most advanced pilots prefer to at least turn off the translational dampener, and that lets you take advantage of the Newtonian physics. So you can accelerate into whichever direction you want to go, and then stop thrusting, and you can now point the nose of your ship in any direction you want to shoot at whatever you want, and still continue along your original vector and your original velocity. So it's great for strafing attacks. In fact, one of the advanced training missions I want to implement to give players more gunnery practice would be just to line up rows of containers to blow up so you can practice strafing maneuvers.
They really buff these generators.
Yeah, they made them a little too
I'm doing
too
some strafing
strong.
now. I'm doing my
Yeah.
strafing. I turn off my T-damp.
Start going up and down.
Oh yeah. Just whoa.
Whoa, to the side, to the side.
Go to my third person here. You
what
guys
else?
keep talking. I'll work on this generator.
Right now you're using the external camera. That's always an option, so you can go to a third person perspective. I like to stay in the cockpit. It's more immersive, but I like to use the O key to turn off the cockpit rendering. One of the premises of this game is that your primary interface is actually on your helmet visor. So think Iron Man. He's got an elaborate HUD built into his helmet visor, and that's what is going on here as well. So you don't really need to see your cockpit. It's kind of a distraction. And similar to fifth generation fighters like the F-35, they've got a distributed aperture system is what it's called. It's a bunch of cameras and sensors that are distributed around the airframe, and it allows the pilot to virtually look through his own aircraft as if it was invisible. And so that's the thinking behind just turning off the rendering of the cockpit and just preserving the essential HUD instrumentation.
I think next round I'm gonna just try and take out all the enemies. But yes, it's one thing too is that I know I always ask this. It's to get rid of the cockpit, but there is an option when you're on the outside to remove
everything.
HUD, right?
So if you want to take a really nice screenshot, it's what is it? Shift
H?
W?
Oh my gosh, our
It's
side
either W or
cameras
H.
work. I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. See,
Yeah.
I should know these things. Hey, we won. I think. Is there another one? No.
No,
Okay,
there you go. You get the
Just the
win
one,
message.
just the
But
one.
there's I think it's like it's
Is it
shift
Control
through.
Shift W?
Control Shift
W.
Yeah.
I was doing. Oh, okay. There we go. Well, we'll show that in the next round here.
I know I've gotten some pretty good screenshots doing that, especially of Saturn on this particular map.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, Newtonius 235. The graphics may look a little bit dated because the game is running in Unreal Engine 4.26. We learned the hard way that if you update every time the engine's updated, it would break a lot of things and it would set us back and cost us a lot of time. So we made the hard decision to freeze at the 4.26 engine, which has been quite frustrating given the new features and capabilities in Unreal Engine 5. It's something that we would dearly love to update the engine and take advantage of all those things. So that's something that hopefully we'll be able to do in the future. But yeah, for using an older engine, I think it does look pretty good, but it's not going to compare as favorably against a state-of-the-art game with Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, I hear a missile. Let's turn on CWiz. Oh, never mind.
Yes, a
Got
big light
exploded.
up front would be nice. I'm assuming you mean like headlights,
We do have
Uh,
headlights, I thought.
and we
don't we?
do.
So,
Um,
we also have the cool sensor thing that allows you does some sonar pings like this, so you can kind of, when you turn it off, you can't really see that chunk of asteroid. But when you turn it on, well, there, I want to go right here. You can now see it. Useful. Oh, I'm hearing missiles. They're not aimed at me, thank goodness.
yes,
They're aimed at the enemies. This is good.
Thank
This is
you,
good.
Old King. Red, the gameplay is more important than graphics.
Uh-oh.
I've always been a firm believer, although I do recall back in the X-Wing days when we were going from 486s to Pentiums, and
there's a flashlight.
The possibility of putting all that extra horsepower into gameplay, the decision was made to go the other direction and put it all into graphics, which was a bitter pill for a level designer. But it's a very sound business decision, a marketing decision. I was sitting next to a games journalist at a conference once, and I asked him why another franchise had consistently gotten higher review scores than us when arguably, objectively, the gameplay was better in our games. He honestly replied, because their game's prettier.
Yeah.
And
is it one of those things where it's just easier to talk about, I would think, on that front?
It's easier to appreciate. But I did ask him to review the credits for both games when he got a chance, and he looked at me puzzled and like, why? He's like, well, because the other guys had about 2 or 3 dozen artists and we had 2.
Makes sense. Yep. I don't know, man. Nothing beats a good mechanical based game,
It's fun. It's fun. The graphics are a nice bonus, but I mean,
like the more things that you can do, I feel like it adds that extra immersion. It's like that level of control that you have in the space.
Yeah. Dusty Monk points out that if you've got active sensors, then there's a potential for stealth gameplay.
I think it's
not really. The stealth that you can achieve in atmosphere is not possible outside of an atmosphere. Once you're in the vacuum of space, heat gives you away every time. There's just nothing you can do about that. Let me backtrack a little bit. There are some very limited use cases where you could achieve a semblance of stealth, but it would be very limited and not at all practical for combat purposes. And one of the things that also contributes to killing the whole idea of stealth is that you've got sensor platforms distributed throughout the solar system, and you've got light speed communications. And I mentioned this at the start of this stream. Right now, today, infrared sensors are so good that an astronaut just floating around Saturn could be detected from Earth. So you're just not going to be able to hide unless it's behind something or inside of something.
Yeah, I mean,
those are
Border
the only
Collie
ways.
has a lot of like nooks and crannies that you can theoretically hide behind, but I mean, you'll still know that your enemy is there just by looking at your radar.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's one of the reasons some of the battle spaces that we're making are like this one where you've got rocks that you can hide behind. There's craters that you can get into. We've got a couple of levels that are set on Enceladus, and there are these crevices and ravines and hills, and so there are a lot of places to hide from direct line of sight, right? If nobody can see you, but
What the hell?
I go left, you go right, my allies going up, one of us gets an eyeball on you, we all get that information.
Exactly.
So it's net-centric warfare is the contemporary term for it. So all of your allied ships are sharing data from their sensors, and your decision support system of your own ship is fusing all of that data to give you the full picture of the battle space.
Yeah, that was a good question from Dusty Monk. But I mean, like, I would argue that stealth isn't more important more than like the information that you are gathering, which we were just talking about. But I think that opens up, like, if you see on phase 2 of the roadmap, you'll see that EMP, electronic warfare, is going to get implemented, hopefully. So that's going to be a lot, because with the new map, it's just...
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say that the other huge element that will hopefully play a big role in the game is the information and electronic warfare aspects. So jamming enemy sensors and communications, spoofing their systems. There's a lot of potential there to make things interesting. And in an earlier build, we had implemented the electronic warfare equivalent of a flare. So somebody fires missiles at you and you spew a bunch of these EMP flares to defeat the missile. We had one where it would temporarily knock out the electronics in an enemy fighter. So your decision support system goes down. Everything goes deathly quiet because there is no sound in space. And it was very cool. So we're definitely bringing that back. And there's the EMP effect produced by nuclear warheads. And that's always been something that I've wanted in the game, is the variable yield nuclear warhead. And we already know how to make sub-kiloton yields. So they're not exactly weapons of mass destruction when the yield is that small, but really good for taking out enemy fighters.
I want to ask this just because, I'm talking to one of the big designers, but when it comes to Saturn, like as that space, is there anything out in, I don't want to say the nature, but just out in space that could mess with your systems? Like I know that there was a map that had like air cracks, like you would see it venting upward, but I don't know like what
that was the south polar region of Enceladus, and those are the ice geysers, I guess is the best term. The Enceladus, the surface is several kilometers thick of ice. Underneath that is a liquid ocean, and because of tidal forces as it orbits Saturn, it forms cracks, and so you get these plumes of ice crystals venting from the surface. Similar phenomenon happens on Io in the Jupiter system, but that's a more interesting chemical mix. It includes sulfur.
So
that thing we can't breathe.
Darn it.
One of the reasons we chose Saturn, well, the main reason we chose Saturn is visually it's just stunning. You've got the ring system, but you've also got, I think the count is over 70 now, or maybe over 80 moons that have been identified. And just the top 10 big ones are all very distinct and interesting. And Titan in particular, the largest one, is absolutely fascinating because it has a very thick atmosphere. It has liquid methane on the surface, and salt. It's got like Earth's water cycle, where you've got water vapor, liquid water, and ice.
Mhm.
But on Titan, it's hydrocarbons,
Oh,
which is yes, Titan has more oil than Earth does, which is why Titan needs some freedom.
yeah.
There we go.
It's
Actually,
free.
my you know, it's funny. My shirt says freedom. So,
There you go.
you know, yeah,
There you go.
a little of freedom for Gonzalez.
I feel like that needs to be a Leith propaganda free Titan, just
Yeah.
Yeah, Fruit Tater made a comment about how many years and still early access, not a final release, and Rose Magwin responded quite accurately. Yes, software development is hard, and when your team is very small and most of the people on the team have full-time day jobs, progress is going to be slow at times. We're very happy with the state of the game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's frustrating that it's taken so long, but it hasn't gotten old for
I
us.
think
We've
it's
been
definitely one
working
of those
on
where
it,
you measure twice,
and
cut
I
once, so.
still love playing it every day. And yeah, it's well. Here's another plea for you to buy the game and give us the 5-star reviews and encourage other people to buy the game. And the more revenue that's generated, we can actually hire more full-time developers and make more rapid progress rolling out these new features and new content, because we have so much that we would like to bring to the table here. And the pace that's delivered, it's going to depend on how well this game does. We're going to keep working on it regardless, but yeah,
Whoa.
more people loving the game means more people more stuff will be made to make those people love it even more.
Yeah, it's worth clarifying something too, though. I think about when was this? Probably about so maybe about a year ago, actually. To that great comment and question about the game taking so long. So I felt the same way myself. And as Westman said a minute ago, like when you have a passion project like this, when most of the team is working in their spare time, and when they can, like I said, I'm only involved on the weekends myself and at night. But for the developer team, yeah, that could take a very long time to do anything, right? Unless you're working on it full time. So I made the decision a year ago that I realized that the game would probably not be able to be in a releasable state anytime soon, unless we had committed some full-time developers to it. So that's when I stepped in and provided some help to fund a few developers to actually work on the game as their job. So the progress we have now, and the reason why we've been able to move as far as we have in a year to be able to get to early access and to provide the demo and add those extra control support, that's because we invested the finances to be able to bring on that team and move off of the format of just everyone just trying to jump in and out in their spare time. So it's now much more of like a real studio, a real project. Early access was obviously a big milestone for us, so that if we see there's enough attention on the game and interest, then that allows us to actually bring on even more developers. But we have a good pace right now with the developers we've got. So I think that you don't need to look too far to see how quickly we were able to implement changes and feedback and additions to the demo to show the pace that we're moving at now. So I hear you, and coming from one of the persons on the team that's been involved with it the longest, actually the longest, I feel your pain, and that's why this is really much more of a celebratory day for us internally, because we've all worked very hard, and there's one thing you don't get back in life, and that's time, right? And the reason why we're here and we put this time on it, because we all love this project and we love this team together, loving together so much, and that's why we're here, and that's what really excites me about early access and about the launch. I think I worked with a great team, 11th Hour Games, for their game Last Epoch. Amazing team, amazing founder, Judd, Daniel, just great people. And they had a really, great experience during their early access where they were very intimately involved with feedback from the community on this action role-playing game. And they had a very unique vision, different from other games in the genre, different from Diablo. And they worked really with the community to bring that vision, those ideas to life and tweak and they're an inspiration to me. And that's kind of how I see this project hopefully progressing, and building on an audience once more people find out about it, and building a community. It's amazing to actually be able to finally see more players get their hands on the game. So thank you for that question. It's great, and I hopefully we are able to move much quicker now. And I think I don't think we have too long to wait. Like I said, I want to get out of early access as soon as possible. That's my goal. We have a lot of cool ideas about what else we can do in terms of supporting dedicated servers and matches where you have many players. Then the limit is basically on the server we get. But imagine huge battles. That's one of our long range kind of goals for the game, to have those kind of really amazing, fantastic, epic, cinematic battles. I think we would all love to see that. So we've got lots of ideas. So it really comes down to if we get that traction with the community. So these next weeks and months we'll see. But I'm very humbled and very excited by a lot of the new faces I see in our chat and these great questions and comments. We can do these live streams, as often as the community think would be helpful. I also would invite a player that's playing the game, or maybe a longtime player who's played the demo. If you want to join us now and jump on live stream and tell us about what you like about the game and help other players understand it, just ping me on Discord, and feel free to send a note to one of us on the team on the player Discord. Say, hey, I just heard Edmore, mention the invite to stream, and we'll send you a little link. You can come on, either with today or on the weekend stream. So anyway, very cool comment. I don't know if you guys put this on screen earlier. If you did, just tell me. But I'm launching the game. Oh my God, the goosebumps! Congrats again. So happy you made my day. Very
That's
nice.
Awesome. And now you can maybe join a match with me and kill me. I've been doing so. It's not been good today for Nathan. I tell you what. So come on in and join a server. Westman, do you have a server up right now? But you're probably right.
No, I was typing responses in the chat.
We got a question from SK What, if we want to pop that up on.
Put it up.
Gotcha.
I'll just answer verbally then.
Oh.
So there are ships planned that would definitely address this. There's one, we put concept art out for it. It's called the Si Chi Ying, the four-winged eagle, and it has a space frame that collapses. So it's got 4 Cascade vane thruster engines in sort of like a box formation, but they can be collapsed together so that it presents a more sort of a traditional profile. And implementing that correctly, simulating the physics of it, particularly when it starts to take damage, has proven to be very, very challenging. So that one's on the back burner for now. There's another one called the Thorn Catcher that has sort of an egg-shaped primary hull, and then it's got it's got 4 main thrusters, 1 straight out the back and 3 of them equidistant around the middle of the hull, and they're all articulated so that they, kind of like an octopus legs. So it's got a very kind of bizarre look, especially when the thrust arms are maneuvering. Think of contemporary fighters that have what's the term for it? It's the F-22, where the thruster can be articulated in a different, or F-35, the VTOL version. basically it enables that craft to do much more acrobatic maneuvers than you would otherwise expect. So that's two examples that I think address that question. Another one, and this was, I think it was a space doc video about warship
Space
design and
docs,
science fiction that pointed out that having all of the guns at the front of the ship doesn't always make sense, because that assumes that you're going to always be thrusting towards the enemy, and sometimes you'd rather be moving away from the enemy, and you might want to have guns facing out the back. So there's a lot of stuff on the drawing board, so to speak, and I think what we're probably going to do, a lot will depend on the technical hurdles in the implementation. But I think we're going to start running some polls with the fans to help us prioritize what we tackle next. That was one of the biggest positive outcomes of releasing the demo, was that we got so much fantastic feedback from players about what they liked and didn't like and what needed to be fixed and so on. It completely changed our priorities and what we tackled first and with got the most attention. As Edmar said repeatedly, we really do listen to you guys and take what you say seriously.
It's funny. I was just looking at. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was done.
Okay. I was just looking at so I mentioned earlier, we look at all that feedback, and as Dave just reiterated, so I'm looking at it right now. We're getting a bunch of feedback coming in from people who are just playing the early access. Really, really, let me see if I can read some of them here. Really good feedback from lots of people. And if you put your email or your Discord username on your feedback, and you want us to follow up with you on it, on an issue, put it there. You don't need to, but if you don't put any information, we can't follow up with you, obviously. So let us know. This feedback coming in about Zoom, which, Dave, we actually did address this, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So this player is asking about Zoom functionality in combat training.
It's not taught in the combat training.
Okay,
as I was streaming, I was showing it off.
Okay. I don't think a lot of players are aware that exists. So
and it makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
We definitely need to update the training modules.
I don't know if you're watching right now, and this is reported from a pilot, Anne, who's playing. So thanks for the feedback. We totally understand. That's why we added to the game, and that's why. But it should be in the tutorial. We had another question or comment earlier that said, "Hey, please, tutorials probably played some of the game. Controls are not as complex as I expected, but tutorials do need major work. So let us know what is missing or what you would like to see in tutorials that we don't have." I do also agree the onboarding tutorials is super critical for a game like this. So help us.
Help us help.
I have a whole list of things.
Dave, actually, it's funny. Dave is one of the most active feedback reporters in our. Every time I look at feedback, I'm like, God, who's this from? And I see it's from Dave Wessman. So he uses the in-game system probably the most out of everybody. If you're in the game, you hit the F8 key, it pops up a window, and you can enter a bug or just a suggestion, and then that actually gets sent to our Discord. We review everything, and then it gets turned into a task, added to our backlog, and
Nate, you can hit F8, right?
Yeah, like Edmar was saying.
I know. I'm just waiting for the move, but I don't think it's going to happen.
There you go.
No.
At the bottom, you can add your email, and if you do that, we are happy to engage directly with you. And
really so cool to see. And for the people who are taking the time giving us feedback, I'm looking at right now, really helpful. People are taking their time, not just writing 1 or 2 words. I see people writing a few sentences, paragraph. What are you laughing at?
Rose Magwin. I'll give David the full grill. Don't you worry.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's awesome.
Another one.
Really good stuff. And if you're having a problem with the controller or something like that, like a critical issue, might make sense for you to maybe email us directly? How do you want to handle that kind of, or the Discord server is the best place?
Discord. I know a lot of people aren't on Discord and don't want to be, but
Okay.
the discussions on our store page, the
Yeah,
community.
you could do that.
You
You could also leverage our email address. We have an email I'll give out now. It's called support@impellerstudios.com. So if you're not comfortable with Discord and you're not, I don't use the Steam discussion area and you're having a critical problem, definitely feel free to let us know what you're playing, if you're playing early access build or if you're playing the demo and what the problem is, and just send an email to support@impellerstudios.com and one of us will respond. So that's great. But definitely use the in-game system like you see our good friend Nathan doing here. You can all see how good of a typist he is now.
Oh, this is not good for me. This is just terrible. Everything right now is awful. And just sit there, and then I'm gonna roll frowny face. There.
All right, cool.
Enjoy.
All right, let me see. Let me see what other comments we've got here. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit earlier. Is there a plan to make the single player side of game truly offline? That is not an easy or simple thing. There's not a switch that say, hey, make this game work offline. And very similar to, the people who ask for support on like Linux or something like that, which is great because Steam Deck has it. It's for Steam Decks. Offline is a beast of a task. There's so many systems that are used for data. Storing data, updating things. It's not just 6 hours of work or 1 day of work, which would be easy. We would do that. It's actually pretty big endeavor. So I do appreciate the fact that people are letting us know, because obviously if the more people, different players, not the same players saying it 10 times, but the more different players are letting us know, then we know, okay, now we know this is something we could probably dedicate time. But just realize, obviously, this is just common sense. Right? We're spending time doing that. We're not spending time doing other stuff, right? So that's a challenge with game dev, right? You only have so much time in the day and so many people, so you got to prioritize it. But this is something we have been looking at, and probably something I hope we can support in the future at some date. Very similar to VR. I want to make sure we get all the core stuff needs to be working awesome, right? And then we could tackle some of these great ideas and suggestions. So I hope that makes sense and doesn't upset any of you out there, but that's kind of the truth.
Well, and currently the way things are set up, the player progression system, if we made it possible to be played offline, and then you could rejoin playing online, that's a huge vulnerability. It opens up avenues for cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
But
we want to protect the integrity of the game experience for everybody.
But I get it. I mean, we get it. We get it. Like in some areas of the world too. Like it's just more important to have offline support. So I totally understand. The player was very nice here. He's thanking us for the feedback and letting him know. So so we should put that on our FAQ if it's not already, and then update that as we have more information on it. I hear some people on my side saying they're discouraged by the low gameplay bitrate on stream. Is there any way to increase it? This is a problem with StreamYard. This is a challenge. So StreamYard is great for one reason and not so great for another reason. It's great because it's so easy to spin up a stream and to have a nice looking layout like this, and people can jump on and off easily. Guests, team members, like it's great. Chat is easy, as you can see. But the visual quality is definitely not like we would like. I would say try, if you're watching it on YouTube, make sure your quality setting is good on YouTube first. If it's still not good on YouTube, check out Twitch. We're also streaming on Twitch, Twitch/InTheBlack. So check it there. You may see a better resolution there, but I feel your pain. And we have looked at other streaming platforms. Actually, it's not something Al and I have been working on, is trying to see other streaming platforms. There's another one called Riverside, I think, and a couple of, some of them required more software. This StreamYard is totally web-based, so really easy to get going. But anyway, I don't know is that is StreamYard using its own screen capture, or are you simulating a webcam? I believe, and here's a good comment in there. So I believe that this stream, like Nathan's basically just sharing, he's uploading his screen to StreamYard. There.
Sharing the window directly, not like a screen share.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The game looks much better when played. YouTube loves eating details. That is true. The
It
stream might
does.
also look better after the live part is over and saved. That is probably also true. Thank you for that. Okay, cool. I think, let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions that we missed.
I think there was one asking about language packs a little while ago.
Oh, for like translations?
Yeah.
Yeah, so eFigs, obviously, English, French, German, and Spanish. That's the common language pack that a lot of games will try to.
Jeez.
What happened, Nathan?
Oh, I got him. What?
So I think, So again, that's kind of one of our goals, to be able to support different languages. It's not on the roadmap right now. I think we just have to see how things play out in terms of response to the game. But I would generally love to support other languages. I think that would be amazing. Definitely something that I think will make the game more accessible to more players. But I want to make sure we get the core game stuff done. Make sure we're addressing all the big items from the players.
We've had some offers from people once they've seen the game to translate it into their native language. Last year, I was at Gamescom, and a woman from Japan was really impressed with the game and thought the game would be really successful in Japan, and offered to translate it for free. And I'm like, okay. Turns out that that's a non-trivial exercise. It's not just exporting a bunch of text files and having them translated. So this is something that the tech team is going to have to take a look at to make it possible, so that whatever languages we choose to support can be implemented fairly painlessly.
Right.
That is the ideal way to go about it. But yeah, just based on the Steam data, we can see that the game has some significant international appeal, and definitely like to support audiences that would prefer to play the game in their native language.
I agree.
Heck yeah. Everyone should be able to enjoy In the Black.
100%. Okay, so we are. I think we've covered a lot of ground. I don't know if there's that much for us to cover today, because we're going to come back over the weekend. But anyone's got some last minute questions, comments, you want to put them in the chat. Here's a nice comment coming in from YouTube. Dance Hall Dave. This means a lot, Dave. Thank you. Great looking project, mates. I love that. Where are you from, Dave? I'm curious where people are playing from. Yeah, I agree. We would not use AI translations. We would use real people. And some of the AI tools are pretty powerful, actually. I have not looked into the ones for language, but I bet you there's ones that are much better than others.
Come on.
But typically we would try to work with a real person and a real team.
That last comment's great.
I know. I read that and just laughed.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, that's probably our cue. We'll go in a couple minutes.
Yes, out of here.
Another comment here. Thank you for respecting the old X-Wing and older flight games. Of course, like that's really what inspired me to start the project, and where I was kind of wowed when I met David Wessman and found out what his background was. That's kind of what brought us all here together. I don't think the game would be where it is without this specific assembly of team. I know Jack Mamias, the director, is also a huge fan of Dave's games.
Well, he
poke at each other a lot, but
he credits the X-Wing series with getting him into game development, and he admits that he completely stole the core game mechanic for Crisis.
Well, there's a fighting words, Dave. That's
Here we
No,
go.
he told me that.
All right, well, listen. Now it's on the public for everybody. So
There you go.
we'll see. Jack's teaching right now, so he's probably not listening, unless he's listening in the side. But
He's gonna hear it back and be like, "Wait a minute."
Jack, I take no responsibility
buddy.
for previous comments. It's always
Well, and going back to when I joined the project, and I shared with you guys that as much fun as it was to work on the X-Wing games, kind of in the back of my mind the whole time was this thought of, okay, but this is World War II airplanes in space. It's kind of nonsense. and what would it look like if it was real? And so since then, I've been thinking about it. What would it look like if it was real? And so this game's the opportunity to explore that. And yeah, I'm just absolutely thrilled with how this is turning out.
Amazing. Well, listen,
Sure.
this is a monumental effort. I want to, of course, we're going to get some questions over again. That's so totally cool. That's why we're here. This is regarding single player content in the game of the future. I want to, so basically our goal is definitely to support more single player content in the future. I think lots of people love multiplayer, lots of people love single player. We have single player missions in the game right now, and it's very repeatable. There's lots of different variations in the game, lots of hours of game. We have someone who, in the demo for 100 hours or earlier. So there's lots of, sorry, there's a lot of wind happening right now. It's crazy. But did you want to quickly touch on like
well, I was just going to say, the entire game can be played single player. The multiplayer modes can be played single player. The other players will be taken by bots. So you don't have to engage in multiplayer PvP if you don't want to.
Good.
There's a question. I don't think we've seen this one yet today. It was the orbital mechanics. No. And the reason is because the battle spaces are relatively small. The largest ones are, I think, maybe 80 kilometers across. The duration of the engagements is typically 5 to 20 minutes. And the ships are so powerful, they've got enough delta V that orbital mechanics are simply irrelevant at this scale. But what we are simulating realistically when it's appropriate is gravity. So right now, the Enceladus battle spaces that take place like right at the surface, there is noticeable gravity. It's very low, which is the reality. But if you're not paying attention, you can crash into the surface, and it has a very minimal effect on the trajectory of cannon fire, but it is being simulated.
And, we also, earlier in the project, we had some great conversations and even initial designs for some kind of moon battles that happen on the surface where there's very, very low gravity, but it gave a cool, like, I think it was for a mining. We even had a cool mining kind of combat ship. I don't remember, Dave, you were on the team at this point in time, but it was basically had like legs on it to crawl on, and there was a canopy at the top for the player.
The Strider?
Yeah, the Strider. Yes, that's it.
Yeah. It's the what do we call them? Is the independent miners.
Yeah, but that was for on like a moon, right?
Yeah, it would be able to basically attach itself to the surface of an asteroid or a moon, and it could either hop short distances or basically crawl, articulated legs. And yeah, primarily a wildcat mining ship, but because there are people with guns in the area, they started to arm their ships as well.
So I think the long answer short, I feel like we could work on some of those kind of scenarios where there's something that does leverage a little bit of gravity, and for interesting. But I think that would come secondary after we really satisfied what we have happening in our current environments. But I would love to see that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Okay, cool. Let me see. I see a couple of the comments here. There's a lot of Mech Warrior 2 here as well. That's funny. Well, that's Jack Amias. That's his
that's his
footprint. There's so many, whenever I've talked about the game in the past, talked about the team, there are so many hardcore fans of Mech Warrior 2, and when they hear that Jack Amias worked on Mech Warrior 2, people are like, whoa, one of their favorites. And actually, this is coming from one of the members of our team, Junior Dev here. Can't wait to make more SB content. Just wait till you all see what we've been have in store. Awesome, man. Thanks for tuning in. Let me see. Awesome. Followed by your game sucks. Okay, thank you. Okay.
There's always one.
Yeah.
I had my shots disappear without a trace. I'm not sure what that means. I had my shoots disappear without a trace. Feel free to clarify that. This is the same player who said the game sucks. So let us know. There might be something wrong, but you should just be able to see your weapon fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know. There might be a bug there. So.
Usually there's like a nice trace.
Yeah, it should be a tracer. Yep. Here's a good. If you're in the chat, this is happening on Twitch, so it looks like there's a link you can click and chat. You could see projectiles from a long range. Maybe make your projectiles look like this for better visuals. Okay, so I guess that's feedback for us. So there you go. So we'll take a look at that.
Yeah. Atmospheric battles, not yet.
That's kind of what we just talked about a little bit.
Yeah, it's certainly, since Titan is one of the moons that some of the battles take place nearby. That would be awesome. It's a bit further down the road to simulate that well. It opens up some big challenges towards performance. But it's right there. Titan's right there. Why can't I go? So, and it makes sense that there's going to be a tremendous amount of industrial development centered on Titan. In fact, one of our hero assets is called Meridian Station. It's actually the counterweight for a space elevator that's anchored on Titan. That design, we had it in the game a while ago and discovered that it was killing performance. So we need to remake that asset to bring it back. But I think you'll be impressed when we get that back in the game.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay. So let me see. Someone's asking about where do you get bots? I think it's for everything there is. What are we talking about? Mining. So we were answering some questions about super battle spaces. So I'll put it on screen so everybody can see. That's what I'm talking about. But okay. So we'll. What else we got? Okay. Here we go. This is a comment or reply to Jaden. Go crazy! I just bought the games. This is the go crazy single player stuff. Awesome.
Don't tempt him with a good time. He'll
go insane.
Very cool. Okay. Any more comments here? I love the realism that the theme goes from Deep over Space Flight Simulator. Check that out, by the way. KSP, etc. Awesome. Cool. Make sure you give us feedback. Let us know what we're doing right and what we could be doing better.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth kind of re-emphasizing why this game exists. There are so many space games out there, and what we do differently, aside from trying to pay attention to the realism, is we really wanted to focus on the combat, just the visceral, exciting gameplay. Get in, blast some things, have this just intrinsically rewarding skill-based gameplay. And very few other space games do that. Most of the space games that are available, and they're awesome, but they do a lot of stuff. And so if you're trying to include trade and exploration and mining and all these other things, it's really hard to have all of those things shine and be really outstanding. And that was kind of one of our core design decisions, was we want to focus on one thing and make it awesome. And so that's, I think, one of the things that really distinguishes us from other space games.
That's a great ending point for this stream. That's totally on the mark. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. So many great questions and comments throughout. I want to thank my colleagues here for joining us, and for Noah earlier for adding so much to the conversation and giving so much information. We're going to come back this weekend. Look on our Discord server, discord.gg/intheblack. We're going to post that in the events area. I hope to see you all in the black.
We'll also announce it on Steam.
Also announcing on Steam. Yep. We will. There's a patch incoming. Nice. Thank you. No, you're welcome. There's a nice patch incoming to address a couple issues we're seeing with AI not behaving correctly in some multiplayer matches and some multiplayer co-op issues. So patch solutions in the works, and the patch is expected tomorrow. So be on the lookout for a day 2 patch, I should say, or maybe it's day 1. It's within 24 hours. But keep playing the game. Give us your feedback, and we will see you on the Discord server and on the Steam discussion. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It's been an absolute honor, and thank you for coming along with us on this ride.
Thanks, everybody. It was nice seeing you. Have a good one.